a lot of us were wrong about the Mavericks. And, I have to admit that I was wrong about the Mavs. I thought when the Mavericks got Kyrie Irving, I thought that him and Luka would not click. I thought it'd be a problem. And even early on, there was a little bit of frustration. It took them a little bit to get going, but they finally got going and made some good moves. They brought in some pieces. They really built a well-rounded team around those two guys. And it seems to be working right now. And they're one game away from the NBA Finals. So this experiment with Kyrie and Luka is a success right now. And many people didn't believe it would be. Right? Now, for different reasons. Some people thought, well, Kyrie has his own little stuff going on. We don't know if he's going to play. Will he be? He had all these things that people were coming up with because of what happened in Brooklyn. But let's just face it, we knew Kyrie had talent. I don't think his skill set was not the issue. I think off the court, people thought, was his head into it? Was he into it? Would he be, what happens if things don't go well? Will he disrupt the chemistry? Will he be so disruptive that Luka may not want to stay in Dallas long term? It was a risky move. Just like when Dallas made a risky move when they went out and got Porzingis a few years back from the Knicks. Porzingis got hurt. So Dallas takes a lot of risks. And this team reminds me a little bit, not fully, but a little bit of that team in 2011 that won, I think it was 2011, that beat LeBron. And not, like I said, not fully or exactly that way, but because obviously Dallas has Luka and Kyrie, which and the 2011 team had Dirk, but the 2011 also has some really good role players and former guys who were all-star level type players, right? Jason Terry, Sean Marion, guys who fit their role. So those are multiple type of guys, Deshaun Stevenson, many guys who, I would see Tyson Chandler, many guys who, some of those guys got personalities. It wasn't like it could have went wrong if a couple things got disruptive. But the point what I'm making with the comparison is that Dirk he was a aging star, unlike Luka, who's hitting his prime. So it's a little bit different. I think Luka's much more fiery. But Dirk was a aging star, laid back. It kind of worked out a bit. So the others came in and they played their role. But this Dallas team, the role players are kind of similar as far as like everyone knows their role and stuff like that. Now, the Dallas team in 2011, they had been together for the core guys, like I think Terry and a few others. They had been kind of on the team for a few years. So it's a little bit different. But Dallas seems to always take risks. They're the one team that will take risks. And they've got a title out of it. Will they get another one? I don't think so, because I don't think they're going to beat Boston. I think Boston is the best team in basketball. And, this is it for Boston. They have to win this ring, But an impressive run for the Dallas. It really is. We'll see if they can close the deal. We'll see. They lost game 4. They had a chance to sweep them, but they got to go to Minnesota for game 5 and win that. I think it's in game 5 in Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken. But if they lose game 5, oh boy, people start getting nervous, right? So we'll see what happens. We will see. But I will say Dallas did a great job taking a flyer on Kyrie, a big risk that could have really went the opposite way. Not only could that move have destroyed the chemistry with Dallas, it could have also pissed Luka off because you had to make sure you keep your star player happy. Luka is the star, but Kyrie's come in and done a very nice job. Kyrie's been really good. I mean, he did pretty well even when he played with LeBron. See, Kyrie's one of those players, kind of like he's able to fit with another star. Not many star players or star caliber guys can play and be successful with other star caliber guys. Kyrie's been one of those guys that you have to give him credit. He can come to a team. He's had in his career, he's had to go to a team. No, first he had to. LeBron comes back to Cleveland where Kyrie is building up his brand, building up that's number one pick. He had to allow LeBron to come to back to Cleveland and pretty much take the franchise, right? After Kyrie was the guy, they were building around him. LeBron comes in, hey, ship Wiggins off to Minnesota, give me Kevin Love, bring my people in. This is my show, this is my town, my city. Kyrie had to deal with that. Turned out pretty well. They end up winning the title. They get a ring out of it. And then Kyrie goes to another team. Now, I think when he went to another team, it didn't work out. I think it was Brooklyn. Didn't work out long term for us. They didn't win. But Kyrie's been able to be. He goes to Boston, same thing. I think it was the Boston first, then Brooklyn. Yeah, because it was a trade for IT and stuff like that. So he goes to Boston. Should have been a star there. Really didn't work out for whatever reason. But Kyrie's he's played in a lot of different teams with a lot of different players. And let's just face it, when he went to Boston, they wasn't really ready yet, right? They were young, they were prime, they were grooming. They weren't ready yet. I'm not saying that if he was playing with them now, like if you replace Drew Holiday with Kyrie, would that Boston team be good? I think it's just a different type of scenario, but that Boston team was young. Even though Isaiah played really well, Isaiah Thomas, 5'9", Isaiah Thomas, who was MVP candidate until he got hurt. They got to the Eastern Conference Finals, lose to LeBron. But if Kyrie's there instead of IT, does that team make the finals? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But the point is that Kyrie, despite all the stuff he was going through, the issues, dealing with everything he's dealing with, he seems to always be able to, when it comes down to playing on the court, he can play. The guy can just play. He can flat out ball, and you can't take that away from him. So now he hooks up with Dallas with Luka, who Luka's number one guy in Dallas. He's the franchise player. Kyrie comes in. He's able to play with him. I mean, not many guys can do that. You send a guy off to a team, handful of guys can handle it for a year or two. They don't really get much success. So we'll see. Now, of course, after this, it could blow up. Next year, they can flop out and miss the playoffs outright, right? Things happen. I mean, but right now, Kyrie's looking like we get Kyrie, Luka versus Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And, of course, Holiday and White and the rest of the crew and Porzingis. I mean, Boston's going to smoke them, guys. I'm just telling you right now. Boston, a healthy Boston team, they're going to smoke Dallas. So as much as we love to get Dallas, props to Dallas for the Kyrie trade. It worked out pretty well. Boston's going to smoke you. So you may if I'm Dallas, I hurry up and get this series over with because you want to be rested. Because your momentum's already leaving you. Like you lost game 4. So you might want to hurry up and get this series over with, rest your guys up, and prepare because Boston's going to be well rested. They got like a week off. Porzingis is going to be healthy. And they talk about Kyrie wanting revenge against Boston. Well, how about Porzingis wanting some revenge against Dallas? Because they kind of gave up on him. right? That was supposed to be a nice little combo going there for Porzingis and crew, and it didn't work out. Would Porzingis be motivated to play against Dallas? So there's a lot of storylines in this series. I'll tell you that right now. And you got 85-year-old Al Horford, who's still balling. I mean, Al Horford, man, that dude does not age one bit. It feels like he's been in the league forever, but he's been very effective. He's balling. He is balling, man. But we'll see. It's going to be a nice series. I think Boston, I don't care who comes out the West. Boston in 5. This is it. Tatum got to do it. Tatum's got to win. Jason Tatum, you got to get it done. No excuses. No complaints, no whining, no crying. You got the team. This is the best team you can have. I don't know what else do you need? What else do you want? This is it. If you can't win with this squad, then I don't know what to tell you, Boston. It might, think about it. I've said this last year. I said this before the season started, and many people pushed back on me on this. I say if Boston can't win with this team, unless something happens, unless a major injury happens, like something that's so catastrophic that you could say, okay, I understand how Boston lost the series. But besides that, Boston, they had to make the finals. They did. So they accomplished step 1, right? It was finals or bust. And I said at the beginning of the year, if they don't make Boston does not make the finals. If they lose at any point of this series in the playoffs, first round, second round, whatever round, conference finals, is over. You got to break it up. The Brown Tatum tandem got to be broken up. So they made the finals, but that ain't good enough. And I know Celtics fans are going to try to, if somehow Boston loses in the finals in like 6 or 7, and Kyrie goes off and Luka is unstoppable, Boston fans are going to look at this, oh, don't worry about it, let's run it back. They're going to try to make this as a moral loss. No moral losses here. The Celtics are the better team, period. I understand how good Luka is, how good Kyrie is, but this is Boston's title. Coming into the year, this was Boston's title to lose, even though Denver was the defending champs. But in this era, it's very hard to go back-to-back. So the likelihood of Denver, even if Denver would have made the finals this year, if they didn't lose, it's still, the edge still to me would have went to Boston anyway, because this NBA teams don't go back-to-back. It's hard to win back-to-back titles. It's not. It just doesn't happen. So it would have been a tall order for Denver. And plus, Denver versus Boston, if you look at team for team, yeah, Denver comes in with size, right? They got sizable wings like Gordon and Porter Jr. But with the improvement and the maturity of Brown and Tatum, I still would take them over Denver in the best of 7. Okay? So Boston came in flat out. This was their title to lose, and they got to close the door here. And the craziest thing is, Boston probably this tandem, Brown Tatum, probably should be on ring number 2 or 3. To be honest, because I think honestly, if they, I'm not gonna say for sure, because was Boston last year, the size was a slight of an issue, but I think they had enough. They could have beaten Denver last year. They had enough to do it, but Denver was unbelievable. I'm not taking that away from them, but because I think that Jamal Murray was playing so well, but I think goes up against Boston, they would have took him out this series. They would have had no answer for Jokic. Jokic would have went off. because Boston was real thin in the front court with Williams and Al Horford would have did the best he could, but foul trouble, you know how that goes. So Denver probably would have won. Probably. But let's just say that series would have won. But I think the Golden State series, Boston definitely should have won that one. The redeem year for Golden State when they come back and go to the finals, Boston had that in the bag. They choked that series away. So let's just say I give them one. Maybe last year I won't count that because technically they didn't make the finals, so we can't say they would have won it. They didn't even get there, so let's take that away. But I'm just saying, technically, I think this tandem should at least have a ring going on 2, maybe even 3. But you guys will all say, oh, look, but they're still young and they got there at this age, and always talking about who won the title back then and what age they were. No. Boston's been putting together these great teams, these contending teams, for like the last 7, 8 years. So, no, I don't give an excuse because the guy's not of age. There's no age. If I put a team together around you to win, you got to fucking win, right? We don't make excuses, well, I don't, for when Kobe and Shaq was getting swept out of the playoffs, right? Even though I know some people do make excuses for Kobe. Oh, he was young, he was a teenager, it doesn't count when Utah was sweeping them up and San Antonio was sweeping them in the late 90s. You guys say that don't count, but I don't. I say, hey, the Lakers had 4 fucking all-stars. That team was good enough to make the finals. We probably should have seen a Laker Bulls finals in either 97 or 98. Right? Think about it. The Lakers had that good of a team. They had a good enough team to get out the West. We should have seen a Laker Bulls matchup. I don't care how old Kobe was. I don't care if Kobe was 19, 20, or whatever age you say. Lakers had a good enough team besides Kobe. They had 3 other All-Stars. So no excuses. I don't give Kobe a pass for that. You got swept. You shot air balls. So I'm not going to give Jason Tatum and Brown any excuses or try to make, oh, but they were still young or, no, they've been to conference finals. This team, they've been contending for like the last 5, 6, 7 years. They gotta bring it home. Okay? They gotta bring it home. I'm not gonna sit there and try to compare the ages of when Jordan won his first ring, he was this age. No. We're in a different era, different time. If you're contending, you're contending. I don't care how old you are. You're on a contending team, you bring it home. Because over the years, we've seen 8th seeds get to the finals out the East. All these weird seeds, Miami. Come on, Miami has no business coming out. And all these different teams coming out the East. No. You've been in contention. You have plenty of talent coming in and out of Boston. You got to bring it in. This is the year. They don't win the title this year. Somebody's got to pack their bags and head to Logan Airport. And I'm going to say it right here. If Boston doesn't win the title, I could totally see Jason Tatum might be gone. And I say Tatum because he's the one eligible for the big extension, the contract. They already locked in Drew Holiday. They got Porzingis on a deal. They gave Jaylen Brown the money. If they can't win with this crew, are they going to really hand Jason Tatum $350, $400 million or whatever the max deal is? They're going to have to really think twice about that. And we know Tatum loves Kobe. He wants to be Kobe so bad. I don't think he's going to be in Boston that long. And the NBA would probably love to have him because I think Boston when they made these moves, they had to know that it's a possibility that Tatum was going to go, or they might at some point. It could be because look, the NBA is scripted, folks. It's scripted for sure. Tatum's getting all the accolades. He's getting all the shine as the guy in Boston. But then Celtics said, okay, we're going to get Brown the highest contract. We're going to make him the highest paid player. We're going to go out and get Holiday, Porzingis, knowing that this could be the last rodeo between Tatum and Brown, especially if they don't win. They could come up with any kind of scenario. They'll come up with it. The NBA is really great at these narratives. What if LeBron leaves LA and heads to Phoenix? That opens up a gate for potential sign and trade between, or not even a sign and trade, maybe a sign and trade. I know typically we don't see what Boston would make a deal with LA because that's like ridiculous, two rival franchises. But it could be a three-way deal. It could be maybe Tatum doesn't sign directly with Boston and he signs with Lakers straight up but doesn't get the full deal. I don't know. Boston fans, will they really go nuts if Boston loses the finals, Tatum plays like crap, and Tatum just chokes away? Would Boston fans really be that upset if a sign and trade between Boston and the Lakers? LeBron signing with Phoenix, Suns draft his son Bronny. LeBron's hooking up with Durant and those guys. And they'll probably have to work out some kind of trade as well that send a player to Phoenix. Maybe a sign and trade with Boston and the Lakers where Tatum signs with the Celtics max and then they send him off to LA. He's playing with Anthony Davis. Who knows? Or maybe the sign and trade brings Anthony Davis to Boston and gives them the big that they need to go along with Tatum and Holiday and Porzingis, right? Maybe that. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, it's a risky move there because Davis can get hurt. And Lakers could start over with Tatum as their star player and with some draft picks from Phoenix and other teams. I don't know. I'm just saying there's different things that could go on here between, because if you get Davis back in the Tatum sign and trade deal with the Celtics Lakers, Celtics fan might not be that upset about that, right? Okay, we get Anthony Davis and it's not bad. Yeah, we had to make a deal with the Lakers, but we knew Tatum was gone. LeBron's leaving to Phoenix. I mean, LeBron could still play with Tatum and Lakers and stay there if he would. It still works out either way. But, I mean, there's different things that can go on. We don't know. I'm just brainstorming. But I know for a fact that do not be shocked if the Celtics lose the series and Tatum's playing awful. Do not be shocked if the rumors start going. Do not be shocked. Now, there's also, of course, other things that can happen, right? Tatum plays great. Celtics lose or they win, but then they decide to re-sign Tatum. It probably shop either Porzingis or even Brown. Yeah, I know. We just gave Brown the money. They can still shop him. That doesn't mean he'll stay. They can still move him if they want. If they, just to try to, because I don't think that they're gonna be able to keep all those salaries. Right? I don't think that's going to happen. And if they do keep these guys, they're going to lose a bunch more of their role players. I mean, Derek White, many others are going to be gone. They're not going to be able to keep that team together under Tatum. Tatum's going to be making like $60 million. Right? At least. So, I'm just saying, guys, it ain't going to be, this team right here will not be the same team next year. That's my point. Whatever way you want to put it, you can make fun of me. You can say I'm stupid. I don't know what I'm talking about. But regardless of what happens, there's a small chance they run it back if they win. the same team, slight difference, slight change, but there's definitely a higher chance that this team doesn't come back the same next year if they lose. We know that for a fact.